Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about the lace frontal that I got from AliExpress, and I believe the company was called Mia Lisa Hair Company or something like that. I will put the title right down there. And I did a review like on opening the closure and my first impressions of the closure and da 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 and whatever. And it took me a whole lot of time. It just took a while to actually do all the modifications to the closure to make it look nice and to actually install it. I just had so much going on, but I finally got it like installed and done to a way that I can actually wear it and it looks okay. So I'm gonna tell you guys my struggles with my first lace frontal, and I'm so happy that I didn't pay so much money for a lace frontal because I struggled so hard with it and I didn't want to use something that was expensive. Okay guys, so as you guys saw from my last video that the closure was a full frontal, it actually like ends like way back here. So I don't know if that's normal because this is my first one, but it goes pretty far back, like past the ears here. And I still was able to use most of the hair that I had on my previous long wig. This is the same hair from my normal dark long wig. Because the closure was already dark, I didn't want to color it, so I just added the hair that I already had to the closure. This closure is actually darker than my hair that I have. As you can see, that my hair is brown and this closure is kind of like a 1B or a 1, but it still kind of blends in. You can't really tell too much. It kind of looks like there's like highlights or something going on there. You can't really tell too much that the color difference. The texture of the closure is similar to the texture of the hair that I already have, which is weird because the texture of the closure when I showed you guys was really wavy, was really pretty, but when I wet it and now it's, you know, dry, it's kind of like the curls are kind of just wonky. I haven't put any heat to it. This is naturally just how the closure dried after the washes and stuff, so I'm not for sure was the curl just like some type of process that they did to it and it just didn't stay after you did your first co-wash or something. But the curl pattern is really funky now. Like as you can see, it's not really having any type of curl. The closure do have a lot of grays, which I wasn't really happy about because my hair has a few grays, but the closure had a little bit more than as you can see, a little bit more than I actually would like it to have. But all in all, it's fairly nice. It's really nice. I haven't had any problems with it. I haven't curled it yet, you guys, so I'm probably gonna curl it and I'll probably talk about how it curled maybe on Snapchat, and I will do like a month review on the install, so you guys will get the first impressions, then you'll get this review, I guess, on how I installed it, and then you'll get the initial review on the closure after about a month, like I did with my last closure. So the process, guys, I had such a struggle with this process, honestly, because I messed up. Okay guys, so for the process, I just had a really hard time trying to get the closure to look really nice. I didn't know it was so much work. Trying to make the closure look as natural as possible, but it is. I researched a lot of YouTubers videos on how did they get their lace frontal to look natural, techniques, just whatever, and a lot of people was just like, you just gotta do what works for you. I mean, this is a trial and error thing, and some people even said that they bought like an inexpensive one, like, you know, like I did, and they tried it on that and they kind of figure out what was a good way, what was a bad way, and kind of what worked for them. So I was really happy that I bought a $65 frontal versus like $100-$200 frontal, or even a $200 wig, and couldn't really figure out how to like get it to look natural and messed it up. So the first thing I did was went ahead and, after I got off the camera with you guys for my last video, I went ahead and bleached the knots. So this is where my process went downhill really fast. I know that you're supposed to make the bleach into like a paste consistency so that it sits on top of the lace, and I thought I did that when I mixed my bleach and my what is that, my bleach and my developer together, and I placed it on the lace. I didn't really like smush it in. I think I did a little bit. I think I really did a little bit. I think I rubbed it too hard and it kind of went through. But the developer that I used was the 20, and I know a lot of people use like the 40, the 30, or the 40, because I think the higher the number, the faster, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, if I don't know, I don't remember if it was the lower the number, the faster, or the higher the number, but whatever. So I had, this is what I already had. I wasn't going to go buy anything else because I already had this. So I was like, okay, it's the 20, and I believe the 20 is like the lowest one, so it takes longer. And the bleach that I had was the Prism Lights, and I already had this also, so I wasn't going to go and buy anymore. The reason why I had that bleach is because I had dyed my hair. I bleached my hair blonde, and I researched, and someone at someone at Sally's told me that this bleach was the best one to get for blonde hair. I already had bleach, I already had developer, so I went ahead and made the paste and I placed it on the closure, and I thought, oh, because it was 20, it was going to take a long time, so I was going to leave it, and I wound up leaving it on the closure for about an hour or two. I left it on there for a while because I actually kind of forgot that I was like bleaching hair. So when I found it, was like, oh shit, the closure, let me go check on it. I was like, oh, the knots are bleached, and then I flipped it over. I was like, oh. So I'm going to post some pictures up here so you guys can see. So you can see when I rinsed out the bleach, I realized that the hair actually bleached too, and it was like really platinum. It was like platinum, and I was like, oh my god, I just totally effed up. I was like, well, I just have to throw it away. But then I was like, no, I need to fix it. So I went onto YouTube, and I found some videos where people kind of messed up their closure the same way I did, and there was a technique that you can use with a mascara wand and hair dye. So I already had these mascara wands from TJ Maxx. So if you guys have an old mascara wand, or you already have a pack of mascara wands, hold on to them. Especially if you're gonna try this, just in case. And then I had a box of the Dollar Tree hair dye that was the perfect color, so I wound up doing that. As you guys can see here, I did go in real lightly, try not to touch the lace, and I wound up dyeing the hair. Now once I dyed the hair, I'm trying to see if you guys can, as you can see here where it's like really light, I couldn't get really close to the lace because you didn't want to dye the lace. So therefore it's still, the back was fine, so the back is good, but in the middle was kind of like and then on the edge it was kind of really bad. But it looks way better than it did in those photos. After I did that, I was like, okay, it should be fine now. And I washed it, I let it air dry. Then I noticed that, you know, the lace was such an odd color, and the lace was an odd color, and the roots of the hair was still platinum. And I was like, and when I put it on my head and against my skin color, it was really like way too light. Like my scalp was not that light. So I was like, oh my god, even this is still a little light, but I can still pull it off. So I was like, my scalp is not that light, so what am I gonna do? So then I was like, oh yeah, normally with my frontals, I don't bleach the knots, because the first time I did that on one of my first frontals, I bleached the knots. It didn't really take, and I didn't like the color. So someone was like, oh, you can just go and buy a spray tan for your legs or your body, and that will work just as well as bleach. So I already had my spray tan, and this is the Sally Hansen Airbrush Legs, and this is a medium glow. So I was like, okay, let's fix the closure color and the knots of the frontal with this spray. So I sprayed it. For some reason, normally this doesn't happen, I sprayed it and it was like glittery. Like, yes, this has medium glow, and I'm guessing it's supposed to be like glittery, but normally when I do it, there's not as much sparkle. It was so glittery, like, so I was like, what the I was so mad because it was like freaking sparkles on the freaking closure. So I was like, okay. Then I just went ahead, got the closure, took some shampoo, and tried to scrub as much of the spray out as possible. And I was like, okay. Once I did that, and I kind of got the roots, and I kind of brushed it with this little old toothbrush while I was with the shampoo, I got most of the spray out, and it also sprayed like through the closure and got some on the hair. But the color came out pretty good. The color isn't bad. It came out okay. But then I still had a problem with the color of the lace. The lace was just not the right tone for my skin. It was way too light, and it was like an ashy kind of tone. So the lace was actually like still like this weird orangey light color. And I was like, ugh, something else I had to fix. I mean, the lace was already too light when I first got the closure, and I was expecting to color the lace. But then since I had all these other problems and I sprayed this on there, it made it even lighter. It was just so many issues. So I was like, we're going to try one thing. If this doesn't work, we're going to throw the closure away and try again. I went to Sally's. I mean, initially I wanted to go to Walmart or Joann's and get this fabric dye, because I saw that people were using fabric dye to dye their lace, the color to match the color of their skin tone. Well, I didn't have time to go to Joann's or go to Walmart, and I was like, okay, let's go to Sally's. It's right here. And I bought a honey brown rinse, color rinse, and this is one of my favorite brands to get. And they didn't have like medium brown or dark brown. All they had was honey brown, and I was like, honey brown it is, because I don't have another choice. So I got the honey brown, came home, and I was like, how am I going to do this? Because with the fabric dye, it just dyes only fibers. It won't dye the hair or the knots of the hair. So I was like, oh well, let's just do it. So I just put the rinse all over the lace that was in the front, and it got on some of the hair, and I did it all on the front, and then about this much in, because I was like, if it dyes the knots, I don't want it to dye the whole thing. I left it on there for about 45 minutes because it is a rinse, and I wanted to make sure it was going to rinse the actual fibers of the lace. Came in the kitchen, rinsed it off. The lace actually did dye. Some of the knots got a little darker, but it wasn't that bad, as you can see. So I'm going to show you guys the color. So I'm going to show you guys the color of the lace and like the knots. So you can probably see it now because I zoomed in, but you can see the lace is darker here versus here. You can see where it kind of changes. But when the hair is like kind of like this, you can't really tell. It's not really that bad. And I wore it out today, and even Greg was like, it looks pretty good. He thought it looked good. So I was fairly happy. So let me show you guys a little closer. So I think if I ever come into an issue with the color change, I can always just make it lighter here with foundation. But I think it looks good. And then a lot of this baby hair is my hair, because I have a ton of baby hair, and I did cut a few pieces of baby hair for the wig, but my hair is just so overpowering, it just would not stay in there. So the color of it is not really that bad. I'm actually kind of happy with the color of it. There's room for improvement on my next one. I know like what to do, what not to do, and how to color the lace correctly. But for right now, this is actually perfect, because I even like tried to put it up, and once I can kind of like get this going and everything, and this is my hair, it's kind of like in a twist, but it looks really good. Like you can tell, like it looks really nice, and the closure is somewhere, the frontal is like here. So with my hair and the frontal hair, it looks really good. So I was really happy about that because I really wanted a wig that I can literally just throw on and didn't have to put some like foundation there, do this, do that real quick, and have to go. Because some mornings I just go and drop Zoe off at school and I don't want to put like a headscarf on and look crazy, or if I have to run some errands in the morning, this is perfect. I can throw it on, put the hair to the side, and go. Like, it looks like my hair looks like I just woke up, and that was the point of making this wig. So after I did the rinse, everything came out fine. I cut the lace. I kind of cut some extra baby hairs. I did pluck, I forgot to say, I did pluck the front of the lace. You know how to make the hairline thinner, but I did thin it out. I feel like maybe I could have thinned it out a little bit more. So for the actual closure, my review on it, I'm happy with it. The only thing, like I said, is that the curls kind of like washed out or something. I am going to put some heat to it, and I'll let you guys know probably in my next video how it turned out with some heat. I think you guys should give it a try if you're looking for a frontal or easy frontal to start with, or just an inexpensive frontal to start with. This is a good place to start. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it very informative, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.